Hey everyone, welcome back to Wheel Reverend, the place where we break down the best and boldest machines on two wheels, from daily commuters to race-bred beasts. If you love bikes that stand out for their history, style, and a touch of performance magic, you're going to love what we have today. We're talking about the 2026 Honda Super Cub 160 HRC, a machine that proves you can teach an old legend some new tricks. When you hear the name Super Cub, you probably think of a practical little runabout, the bike that mobilized millions across Asia and beyond, delivering newspapers, groceries, and pretty much anything you can strap onto it. Since its debut back in 1958, Honda has sold well over 100 million units worldwide, making the Cub the single most produced motor vehicle in history. So how do you reinvent something so iconic, without losing what made it special in the first place? Well, Honda's answer for 2026 is simple: give it more power, sharper style, and a sprinkle of HRC magic. Let's start with the beating heart of this little legend. The new Super Cub 160 HRC is powered by 156cc single-cylinder, 4-stroke engine that's liquid-cooled, a big step up from the 125cc air-cooled engine in the regular Super Cub. This engine is tuned to deliver around 16 horsepower and about 14 newton-meters of torque. Those numbers won't scare sport bike riders, but on a bike that weighs just about 110 kilograms fully fueled, that's plenty of punch to make city rides more fun and country roads feel like an adventure. The new engine is paired with Honda's semi-automatic 5-speed gearbox, so you still get the classic Cub experience of no clutch lever, just easy foot shifting. It's perfect for new riders and old-school Cub fans alike. Honda's goal with the 160 HRC was to add excitement without sacrificing the Cub's famous usability. So, you can still potter through traffic in your work clothes without breaking a sweat. But when you hit an open stretch, there's enough power to cruise comfortably at 90 km/h, with the top speed nudging the 110 mark if you really wind it out. Despite the performance bump, fuel economy remains one of the Cub's strongest points. Honda claims you'll get around 70 to 75 km/L if you ride with a light hand, which means you can go days, maybe weeks, without worrying about filling up. With the 5-liter fuel tank, that translates to a realistic range of about 350 kilometers on a single tank. So, the engine's sort today, but what about the ride? Honda didn't just bump up the power and call it a day. The HRC treatment includes an upgraded suspension setup, 31mm telescopic forks up front and dual shocks at the rear, both tuned for a slightly firmer, sportier ride without compromising daily comfort. The frame remains the same iconic step-through design, but it's been subtly reinforced to handle the extra power and to deliver a bit more stability at higher speeds. Braking gets an upgrade too. There's now a 220mm disc up front with a 2-piston caliper and a rear drum brake, both equipped with single-channel ABS as standard. It's not track-spec stopping power, but it's more than enough to give you confidence in busy traffic and on unpredictable city streets. Next, let's get into the design, because let's be honest, half the charm of the Super Cub is how it looks. For the 2026 HRC edition, Honda has managed to keep the timeless Cub DNA intact while giving it some subtle yet striking racing touches. You still get that classic rounded leg shield, the low step-through frame, and the upright riding posture. But look closer and you'll see the sporty details that set the HRC version apart. The paint job is where the Super Cub 160 HRC really stands out. Honda's used an exclusive tricolor livery inspired by their MotoGP bikes, a crisp pearl white base with bold red accents and a hint of blue. The iconic HRC badge sits on the side covers and the front leg shield, making sure everyone knows this Cub has a special pedigree. The front LED headlamp now has a sharper, more modern signature, and the tail lamp is sleeker and better integrated. You'll also notice small but meaningful changes like machined alloy foot pegs, bar end mirrors, and a redesigned seat that's slightly firmer and more supportive for longer rides. The wheels are 17-inch alloys finished in a subtle matte black, wrapped in grippy tubeless tires that handle wet city streets better than the older tube-type setups. The digital analog dash has been updated too. It keeps the classic speedo look but adds a small LCD screen that gives you extra info like fuel consumption, gear position, and a trip meter. It's simple, but very practical. So, who is the Super Cub 160 HRC for? Well, that's the best part. It's for pretty much anyone who wants a piece of motorcycling history but doesn't want to sacrifice everyday practicality. It's for city riders who want a stylish commuter that won't break the bank to run. It's for collectors who appreciate the significance of the Cub name and want something a little more special for weekend rides. And it's for younger riders who might want something unique that stands out in a sea of generic scooters. Now, let's talk price. Honda hasn't reinvented the Cub to be out of reach. Depending on your market, the 2026 Honda Super Cub 160 HRC is expected to start at around $4,200. Of course, final prices may vary depending on your region and local taxes, but the point is this: you're getting a limited edition machine with upgraded performance and premium styling for less than many mid-range scooters. The biggest selling point, though, is the way it makes you feel. Riding a Super Cub has always been about simple freedom, the wind in your face, the easygoing handling, the charm that makes you smile every time you swing a leg over. The 160 HRC keeps all that but adds just enough performance and flair to make you want to take the long way home every time. In a world obsessed with bigger, faster, more complicated machines, the 2026 Honda Super Cub 160 HRC is a reminder that sometimes, less is more, especially when it's done right. It's practical, economical, reliable as ever, but now it's got a bit more attitude, and that's something you can't put a price on. So, what do you think? Is the Super Cub 160 HRC the perfect blend of classic and modern? Would you pick this over a standard scooter or a small motorcycle? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think of Honda's latest spin on an icon. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Wheel Reverend for more deep dives into the world of two wheels, and ring that bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Until next time, keep your helmet on, your fuel tank full, and your heart open to the road ahead. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.